So the new lockbox is now available. You'll be able to initially purchase it from the Wondrous Bazaar in bulk, but otherwise you can get it to drop from enemies just by killing them. And then you can probably get them cheaper than the Bazaar even on the auction house after a few days, maybe even a week. But this new lockbox will give us the opportunity for some new rewards. We've gone over them before in multiple videos, the new deadly Drider form mount, and also the Minotaur Mercenary. Those of you who are on consoles, you'll most likely be able to access this lockbox right now as I'm recording the video. Those of you on PC will have to wait till maintenance is over. But let's go and open 250 of these lockboxes, obtaining all the guaranteed rewards. You can see, doesn't seem like much has changed from this lockbox versus the previous Lothian lockbox. The only difference being the new companion and the new mount. We've covered them before and I'll showcase them again in this video, but you'll generally want to take the mount for its insignia slots. It's got 4 of them versus 3 as the previous mounts mainly had, and you'll be able to get a bunch of new insignia bonuses with it as well. We'll cover that later on. And for the companion, he can do really well as a third option as an AoE damaging companion, along with some massive crowd control with tidal force. Again, we'll showcase him a bit more later, but if you don't have Regis or the Shadowkai Witch, he's pretty much then your best option. Being account wide as well means all your alts can have him, and he'll help a lot in questing. So let's proceed on to actually opening this lockbox. You will need enchanted keys, which I recommend just getting every day through VIP, obtaining that enchanted key. Save your keys for your lockbox and you'll be good to go. And ideally save 250 keys and then open 250 of a given lockbox. So we'll go ahead and we'll open this one. You can see exact guaranteed rewards as you go along. You get to 50 and you can get a chance of getting the Minotaur, but it's only a chance. You'll normally obtain like a green companion. And then at 125 you can have a chance to obtain the mount, the mythic mount. But again, you'll most likely only obtain a green mount. And a coal moat, pretty nice. And then finally the choice pack. The guaranteed choice pack of getting either the Minotaur or the mount, which you will most likely get anyway before you get to that point because of the drop rates. So let's get opening these. You may have seen in the past where I was not recommending these new style of lockboxes, but they have increased the amount of trade bars you get, so I do recommend them. They are one of the best. This is probably the best lockbox right now to open, aside from your one with the Ebon Riding Lizard, the Lothian one. You can see the loot we're obtaining there. We've already got the mythic mount, which is pretty neat. Again, it's 1 in 250 drop chance, so the probability is there that you will obtain 1 mythic mount and 1 mythic companion within 250, on top of obtaining the guaranteed pack. You can see we obtained 2 mythic mounts. That's unlucky because then we most likely don't obtain the companion as well. But that's all 250 open just there, with the last one obtaining the guaranteed choice pack. Those are all of our rewards. You can see the different mounts and companions we obtained, like 2 legendary mounts, not so bad. Bunch of different epic mounts here with some companions as well. Not too special, because all these things drop from other lockboxes as well. They're earlier ones, and so the value of these things have really dropped in price drastically due to the amount of people who open these lockboxes. It has kind of ruined the economy for mounts and companions, but that aside, it just makes it easier for a new player then to get them nice and cheap, which is not such a bad thing. But there you go. We got just over 10,000 trade bars, which is pretty decent for this kind of lockbox, for this rate. But you do want to be opening at least 200 of these lockboxes, again, for the trade bars and that coal moat. Those trade bars, again, if you don't know the importance of them already, you will be spending them in the Termlin Trade Bar store here, and you mostly want to be obtaining your mount upgrade tokens and your companion upgrade tokens. only purchase them when you have the discount. Alternatively, you can purchase your consumables, scrolls, and stones of health and sell them again for a profit. Sell them at the time when we get like a new dungeon, new content, and people will be spamming loads of scrolls in there to get through it. So that's when the prices go up. But that aside, we have the new companion and we have the new mount. Well, we did obtain 2 of the new mounts. So we have the one here, and then we also got the choice pack, which will allow us to obtain the companion there if we wanted to. But we already have them. This is what the mount looked like. You there, just some webs on the ground, and you turn into basically a drider. Your lower body is entirely a spider. It's a bit creepy. I'm not a huge fan. Now, the mount will give you the benefit of Loth's Gift, which can be useful. It will give you a bunch of stats of power, crit severity, defense, and awareness. The defense and awareness could make this viable as a defensive mount combat power for in a trial when people need survivability. But the other stats, the offensive stats, most people will have their build already. So this is what it looks like. You summon this Drider, and while you're within the area of the Drider, you obtain these stacks. You can see there. And this will increase our statistics. And once like the Drider disappears, you can see your stacks are gone. So they don't last for very long at all. If you wanted to use this as a mitigation mount, which you could because it would give 15% defense maximum and 15% awareness, you could, but you'd have to time it pretty well. And everybody would have to be grouped up within the area effect of that power, which is not exactly that big. And otherwise it does okay area of effect damage. And otherwise it just has uncanny precision, which is just accuracy and combat advantage. Could fit on some build, but DPS characters will generally use ferocity for that bit of an advantage on damage, but mainly because you're min-maxing and you're already so full of ratings. If you aren't full on ratings, well, it's definitely a viable option for damage dealers. Now again, the main reason to get this mount is to put it in your stable right here, to give you these different insignia bonuses along with a 4th insignia slot. So you can have 4 insignias. And on top of that, the 4th insignia, if it's the preferred type, if it's illuminated, it will gain a 20% item level boost. So it will give 600 item level versus just 500 normally. So in total, using this mount gives you a 600 item level boost. For endgame min-maxing, that's a competitive advantage. As for the bonuses you can get on this mount, you can see them all here. They're mainly defensive orientated. Protector's Covenant, for stats for a tank. Lionheart's Perseverance, for that, oh shit, I'm low HP, emergency heal and stamina gain. And then a Cursor's Resolve, not really useful for anybody unless you want to be running around drunk all the time. You can drink like ale, it's quite funny, and gain the power and deflect all the time. And then Shepherd's Devotion, really good. I love that on a tank and a healer. When you use the daily power, you give everybody movement speed and a defensive boost. And Protector's Camaraderie, not the best, but you can make use of those stats on some builds. Then for the companion, the Minotaur Mercenary, you may have just seen it there already. When you go in combat, he's going to immediately use his Tidal Force, which basically magically increases his gravitational mass and he pulls nearby enemies close towards him. You see that again here. He kind of just crowd controls them all. They don't do anything, and then he kind of knocks them over and does some damage. And the benefit of that is the area is absolutely massive. It's 50 feet, a whole 50 feet effective radius. So he can hit a lot of enemies very reliably. And the damage output is not too bad either. You give him some combat advantage and he'll be like, yeah, if he maybe crits, he's going to take half their hit points off the enemies in Menzoberranzan, the latest endgame zone. And just, yeah, heads up, if you're new to the game, make sure you unlock that area. You can start by picking up the quest Whispers in the Dark from Sergeant Knox and Protector's Enclave, and regardless of your item level, you can go here. At some point this will go away and you'll need 55,000 item level to unlock it. Once you've unlocked it, you'll always be able to come back, still regardless of your item level. But that aside, the Companion is the third best companion for area of effect damage. And for crowd control, for like stunning the enemies, I would say he's pretty much the best. Because, yeah, the ability to do that just right from the get-go in a massive area is just really good. Like, he'll be helping in dungeons where enemies do a lot of damage. So overall, this lockbox is pretty good. It's got a pretty good companion and a pretty good mount. And good luck on your drops if you do decide to go and open it. I would only go for it, again, if you don't have a bunch of progress on an older lockbox that you might want to still make headway on. You want to take advantage of those guaranteed rewards by making progress on the lockbox and just sticking to it until you at least get to 150. But it just gets better from there. 200 occult modes and 250 guaranteed mythic mount or companion of your choice. So a massive thank you again to all these channel members for their added support, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.